The House Justice Committee, chaired by Congressman Niel Tupas, voted to declare sufficiency in form 3 impeachment complaints filed against President Aquino by the Makabayan bloc in connection with the disbursement acceleration program declared unconstitutional by the Supreme Court and the signing of the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement between the U.S. and the Philippines. And joining us tonight is Congressman Niel Tupas, the chairman of the House Justice Committee. Good evening, sir. Welcome to NewsLife.
Good evening.
So to start us off, 3 impeachment complaints against the president, 2 for culpable violations of the Constitution, betrayal of public trust, and graft and corruption in connection with the DAP, and 1 for the EDCA signing. Now, what does it mean when you declare sufficiency in form?
Sufficiency in form, merely, it just means that the complaint is signed by the complainants. It's verified by the complainants. That's number 1. And number 2 is that there's a resolution of endorsement from a member of Congress. So technically, it's very simple. Just 2 requirements. Once you satisfy those requirements, then the complaint will be declared sufficient in form.
So basically, it's just passing documents that you say that it's complete, something like that. It's qualified.
Just analyze the documents. But in the hearing today, that wasn't the case. It was intense debate. There were intense debate, and it's more of technical. The debates were based on more of technical matters. That's why we had to divide the House on some instances in the committee hearing this morning.
Now, sir, can you explain questions raised by Congressman Fariñas on the form of the first complaint, which he said that it needed revisions to correct certain items in that particular complaint?
One point was raised by the senior vice chairman, Congressman Fariñas. He said that when he was looking at the complaints, there was some corrections by the complainants that instead of, let's say, a group, let's say Makabayan, they crossed out the Makabayan and replaced it with I. So it's instead of a group, it's the person. And he said that you should correct this because we should know who is filing the complaint. Is it the group? Are you authorized by that particular organization or not? Or are you the one filing it as a person or as an officer? So, but in the spirit of liberality, the chair ruled that in the interest of justice, we will be liberal. And the chair directed the secretariat to just amend the complaints. So it was cured. It was cured because the defects that were raised by Congressman Fariñas were not really fatal to the complaint and can be cured through a very simple amendment.
Okay. How about the issues raised by Congressman Rodriguez, who said that the verification and the certification of the second complaint had some problems?
Actually, Congressman Rufus Rodriguez raised very interesting and important points. He cited the circular of the Supreme Court that there were certain requirements for a verification to become valid. And he distinguished between verification and jurat. But at the end, the committee voted, and in the spirit of liberality, we are not bound by the circular of the Supreme Court because the verification which is the basis whether the complaint is sufficient in form, really means that were there signatures by the complainant, number 1, and number 2, were there endorsement coming from the members of the Congress? So the ruling of the committee with respect to the points raised by Rufus Rodriguez was the committee brushed aside certain technicalities and became liberal in interpreting the rules of the impeachment.
Now, the hearing became quite heated, a lot of debates. Now, what were the major issues that were being raised during this hearing before it was actually declared sufficient in form?
Well, there were a lot of issues raised. I didn't expect it to be that heated, but there was an intense debate, and probably it is because the respondent is the President of the Republic. Some issues were raised like prejudicial question. Complaint 1, complaint 2 are based on DAP, disbursement acceleration program, which is still pending now in the Supreme Court because there's still a pending motion for consideration. EDCA, there's also a pending case in the Supreme Court. So these issues were raised, prejudicial question, but we did not rule on that.
Yeah, these were raised by Speaker Agabao. Now, does that have any basis in his debate saying that this could actually be dismissed because it's already running in the Supreme Court? In terms of the DAP, there's some, it hasn't been 100% resolved, and in terms of EDCA, there's still no ruling.
Pending.
Yes.
I don't want to prejudge the case because I am presiding, but I think it's although Deputy Speaker Agabao raised interesting points on a prejudicial question, I still believe that the impeachment proceeding is totally different and separate from any issue pending with the Supreme Court.
But hypothetically, let's say a ruling comes out from the Supreme Court saying, yeah, okay, the EDCA is okay, the DAP, some of that, it's okay. Will that now supersede what you guys are doing?
Theoretically, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's a separate thing, even if it's not unconstitutional, even if it's constitutional or not or unconstitutional. The impeachment proceeding is totally separate and distinct. It is based on the decision now of the people exercised through representatives. So I think whatever happens here next week with respect to the substance, because we will discuss substance next week, the decision will not be based on any technicality. And as chairman, I would not allow a decision based on technicality. But the decision will be based on the merits of the case, whether there's really substance or not.
I guess now, for the benefit of our viewers, it has passed the first hurdle, the form, sufficiency in form. Now, what would we be looking for now for it to pass the hurdle of substance?
According to the rules, the requirement on substance is met when there's a recital of facts constituting the offense charge and determinative of the jurisdiction of the committee. It simply means that assuming all the allegations are true, do they constitute the offense charge? Is there violation of, is there betrayal of public trust? Or is there a culpable violation of the Constitution? So in the forms, in the substance stage, we will not go beyond the complaint. We will just read the complaint, and based on the complaint, is there betrayal of public trust, assuming that all of these are true? So that will be the guiding principle when we tackle substance next week.
How will the voting be during if ever it does pass or not? How will the voting go?
The voting will be the same. It will be complaint one. The complaint will present as they did with form. Then after that, we will vote. The vote is just simple majority vote, there being a quorum.
This is just for the committee?
It's just for the committee. 55 members plus around 20 ex-officio members. This morning, around 62 members attended.
When you say majority, it has to pass the majority, how many members have to say yes or no?
With respect to form and substance, it's only majority there being a quorum. So, it's not much. Unlike when if ever we reach the stage of probable cause, then there will be absolute majority. But simple majority means only 20% quorum, and out of the 20%, the majority of that.
Okay, and final word from you, sir. What are the next steps? So how are we preparing for the next hearing, which is next week?
Yes, this is the real battleground, the substance stage, because in my experience as chairman of the Justice Committee, mostly the committee declares the complaint sufficient and form, but it really depends on the substance. As chairman, I assure the public that although I am a member of the Liberal Party, but I will continue to be impartial. The committee will continue to be fair, as we showed in this morning's hearing, and we want the complainants to explain their side, and based on this debate, we will allow the people to decide based on their representatives if there's really substance or not.
Okay. On that note, thank you very much for joining us here tonight on NewsLife. That was Congressman Niel Tupas, Chairman of the House Justice Committee.